The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a half-decent week so far. Can someone give me a heads up, make sure the volume is okay? I think I better do this almost on a weekly basis. Just put your hand up if you can hear it. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll just remove those. Great. Okay, let's begin now. I hope, obviously, you had a chance to go through this disclaimer. Again, I'll just point out, I can only give general investment advice, so please, no personal advice taken here. I am licensed under Mortgage in General, as you can see their license number, and my license under their number, basically. So all this information we're going to discuss tonight is just general investment advice. Nothing else, no personal advice whatsoever. Okay, let's. I'll swing over to the chart at the moment. Just give us a moment. Okay, we should be seeing the chart now. If anyone's got a problem, put your hands up, please. Okay, we start off with the Dow Jones. As usual, we'll go to the monthly. Now, as we can see, nothing really much changes on the monthly, but what does it clearly tell us? Now, it is a monthly chart and certainly told us that it has broken the rising wedge, and I keep pointing out every fortnight that we do this, that this is the market has topped out and it's really overall on the way down, regardless how long it might take. So it's sideways to down. Okay, now, just to do a price target, everybody should be familiar with this anyway. So we go to the top, we go to the next touch here, and we go to the break point. And basically, just to confirm, we are where we are now. Generally speaking, when a target gets hit 7, 8, 8 times out of 10, you know, it will consolidate. It will do something. Okay, now with a monthly, you might see it stay there for a bar or two. It might go, you know, 3 bars. It might go, you know, just continuation, but slowly. It might stay there for a few weeks. Okay, and this is what we're currently seeing. I'll just remove that because it's neater without it. Okay, now the next target down could be a lot lower, and I'd rather use the weekly chart than anything else. Now, this is the main trend line, as we can see. Technically speaking, it can fall to the main trend line, if not even below it. Okay, so, but let's look at the weekly. Weekly, again, we can see we had a consolidation. We did a target down to this. The next consolidation, which we probably should have done last time, but is from here to the next bottom to the break point, and again we're at that level. I'll just remove that just to keep it cleaner again. Okay, so we have consolidated there, and we expect to really consolidate further here, and we should see a bit of a rally overall. You know, rarely do they go in a total straight line. I mean, it's like, I'll go back down to this level here. Everybody can see we had a downturn. Okay, it consolidated, goes lower. Okay, in this case, not as much. If we go back further, again, we have a downturn, consolidation, lower, consolidation, lower. Okay, if we go back to here, this is where we are. We haven't had a consolidation. Not saying it's not, it can't go straight down. I mean, if the economy is really stuffed, then yeah, it can go like a 1987 crash. It can go straight down. In fact, 1987. Let's scroll back. Let's have a look. It looks like a wimp at the moment. Here you go, 1987. Down and whack all the way down. You can see then it came back up, consolidated, and then started its merry way up. Okay, so it's important. We do get, most times, as we can, you know, go from back to 1987 down to current, we've got to see some sort of consolidation phase. Okay, again, where we are at the moment, I think it's consolidating. Anywhere in this area here is consolidation. In other words, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're not already short, you need to find a way to go short, and this is not the way yet. Well, let's have a look at the daily anyway. What does the day give us here? Well, again, just to repeat what we did before, from the top to the bottom to the breakout, that's what's its price, and that's where we go consolidating, okay? So this is what I believe is happening now. So it's going to be still a bit of volatility. We saw this rally, as we said last time, we should see a rally coming when it was coming down, and because the target was back down there on that one, we saw the rally, and now I believe it's consolidating. Can it go back down here? Absolutely. Okay, can even go make a newer low and go down further and consolidate from there still, but we need to see some sort of consolidation. In trying to get a short position on this, I would rather see a consolidation and then a price breakout of some form, like a bearish flag or something like that. We haven't seen that here yet. That's what I'm saying. Originally, when we looked at this here, I said once it breaks the consolidation phase, I'll go back to the weekly one sec. When we said it goes to the consolidation phase and it breaks below, yes, I will go short. I would only trade it to here. And yes, as it breaks below that, then I would trade it to a lower level to its next target from there. So it's met those two targets. So really what we're looking for is another formation now to take us to a lower target. I still believe, of course, we will go lower. It all comes down to timing. At the moment, everybody's expecting this interest rate basically rise in the US, and in fact, the way it's going at the moment, the volatility that was planned for September, so I doubt that's going to happen till maybe November or early next year at the way the markets are volatile. We really can't say more than that other than the Dow is on the way down, but if I was to look, as I said, look for an entry to jump on the bandwagon to the downside, we really got to see a pattern of some form to say that's the next move down. We don't see that. If you were short from way to the top here and you want to hold it, by all means, go for it. I'll probably do that as long as you got adequate time. If you got options, you're not expiring anytime soon, I would take my money and walk away on that basis. Okay, we'll look at the S&P 500. In fact, do we expect anything else other than what the Dow showed us? Oops, .inx, what am I doing? INX. A monthly again. Now we're getting a bit of data. 1 second still. I should have done that earlier. I've got the intraday on too. Just still updating. Here we are. Okay, still more data coming, but anyway. Look, beautiful rising wedge on the way down. Again, targets. Everyone has to do these now. They don't have to be shown all the time. Click, click. And this one's telling us we've got lower to go, as you can see. Actually, I might leave that on there because it is lower to go. If you're not in this one as a short, please look for an entry point, like another bearish pattern to jump on the bandwagon. Don't just go at any point, especially if you're leveraged, and you might blow yourself out of the water. At the same time, you can see this had the same as the Dow. Look, it had 2 points of consolidation here. Okay, so the first target, again, from there to its breakout, that's where we were, where it is. And I'll just delete that, it's a bit messy there. And the next target, again, obviously is the lower point, like the Dow, which showing us, well, in fact, actually, we hit that one. There we are there. We actually hit that point. So, again, looking at the rising wedge, there is a lower on the monthly, but not on the weekly. The weekly sort of met. Going to the daily, we had the bigger target was from here on that one. That was ages ago. That was the first one to there. Then, of course, the same thing here, all the way across. That's that one there. And, of course, the lower one all the way across to the breakout. It's telling us lower to go. So there is lower movements to go, but you've got to look for an entry point. And that's what I'd like to stress, is you've got to get the entry point. Okay. So the Dow and the S&P are pretty much similar. So we're going to look at the gold at the moment. XAU equals. And let's go to the monthly first. And we can see we still are, when you look at the monthly, we're still part of this basically triangle at the moment, also parallel lines, and again you look at this huge broadening formation and a potential mess tail on the monthly. Okay, so we're still seeing that, and that shows a potential target to the downside. It is still inside this section here, so it's anybody's guess at the moment. But let's go to the weekly. What we see on the weekly is out of the weekly rising wedge, the weekly mess tail, we can see the target's already been met. And there's the rally. It was making this little triangle at the bottom, potentially if it was to go lower, broke on the upside of the triangle, and really you can't say much more than that. So that met that target, and we can't really say any more. What we're looking for is the weekly's not saying it's going to continue to go up, but it's not saying it's going to continue to go down. So we're right in the middle of things right now. If we go to the daily, let's hope it gives us more information. That was the triangle, and yep, it gave us a target up. That's what we did that last time, didn't we? It gave us a target up. It met the target. We also said his point of resistance, I would have traded it to that point. I mean, obviously it was in all the way up. I'd probably hold it and see if it broke through to hit the target, but anyone that wasn't, I would be saying don't ever try to get into near the tops. So targets be met. Where are we now? Well, what have we got to trade? Is this a potential? Well, it is at the moment. Clone, not a potential. It looks like it is a bearish flag. And in fact, that technically says it's currently a short. So from the top to the lowest body to the breakout, and it's telling us back down to $1,095 to $1,090 betas on this flag. So gold is suggesting a down move at the moment, okay, based on the current data. So price target on gold is back down to $1,090 to $1,095. And that's gold. Now, the ASX 200. XJO. Monthly again. Excuse me. Again, the main trend line is this dotted line. Okay, now, regardless what happens, like when this last month in August, we saw this go below it, but before the month ended, it's going close back above it. So this is only valid when it closes below, okay? The price target, if we're looking at this, is from this dotted line. So we go click. Now really it's to the lowest. I better grab the right one, it might help, wouldn't it? So if we go to the top, to the lowest body, to its breakout, and that's its target, which is really met and went back above it. I'll just remove that data again. Okay, back above it. Now, also the way you can look at it, not as yet, but when this is clearly broken down, when this, if this was the end of this month and that closed like that, we can technically add this then. And then it does make it a rising wedge from the bottom, okay? From the bottom. But we can't do that yet. But keep in mind, if that closed below, you can actually do that. Then you've got a serious rising wedge on it also. Okay. Now, this is still telling us there's lower prices to come. Okay. It's right on there. And the weekly, if you look at it, looks pretty bearish also. Okay. Here's your weekly. Now, I'll make this point. If this closes this week below this point, because someone actually asked me during the week, what do I think if I was to look for a short position? You know, what would it do with the XJO? I said there's one or two things that I would consider if I'm out of the market altogether, if I'm not short at the moment and I'm out of the market, where would I enter? And that was, well, we were still, I think, somewhere around here. Now, what I said is this. I would want to see at the end of the week, the close below this line, the main trend line. I would consider it a short. Also, what I would consider is if it rallies all the way back, see what we got on a weekly. Let's see, this is a head. There's a shoulder, not the best, it's pretty small, and has the other shoulder. The neckline goes also I'll just redraw it from up here, like so. It's a bit messy, that's why. But then I would consider a rally all the way back to around here, even possibly to the top, and start looking for a short position then. So these are the only two places I would consider a short position if you're not there yet. Either this must close below, or it must be back above that. Or if you're looking at an intraday chart, let's say, and of the XJO, 60 minutes or 180 minutes or whatever, and that was a bearish flag here, I would take it, and I would trade it on intraday, and then obviously if it closed below during the week, then I would honestly reconsider, staying there. I would consider staying there and continuing the trade then as a break below this. So if you're not in yet, this is not the time to enter. The risk is too high to enter at these particular points because it's going to be volatile. Let's be realistic. We saw the Dow go up last night. How much? Nearly a few hundred points, whatever it was. And what do we saw today? We saw ours go up about 70, 80 in about face and down about, 70 or so. So what a range. What a trading. Great if you're doing intraday, of course, but that's about it. So it is important. It's still a bit messy the way I left it, so I'll remove that just for now, and I'll say this is part of it. This line's just part of it there. Okay, so I would literally look at it on that basis. Now, looking at the daily ain't going to give us much. Let's be honest. It's pretty volatile. Look, this is your started off here, went all the way up, and all the way back down. What a range! So again, where this stopped is at, as we can see, the first resistance point. Okay, that's where it stopped. So I would seriously wait and see. If you're looking at it on a daily, look, you can also go from here. Look, there's your shoulders, head, shoulder. Okay, there's adequate data to say that is a head and shoulder. And a target, of course, if you're looking at this, you're going from the top here all the way to the bottom there and to a breakout there, and auto size so we can see it, and there's your target. We're not that far away at the bottom, are we, when you look at it from that perspective? Okay, I'll leave that there for future anyway. So that's how we have to look at it. Now, that's the XJO. I've also been told the XFJ, somebody wants to see that, that's the Financial Services Index. I've got a number of instruments today, from NCM to WPL, OSH, the banks, of course, and so forth. Now, when we look at, this is the interesting, look at this. Now, this is a monthly on XFJ, which is basically the financials. This is all your banks and so forth. This is the index. Now, there's your main trend line. Why doesn't it go down? It's somehow lost its move to go down there. There you go. So we've got a touch, touch in here, touch there, and we're right on it. So that's why I'm reluctant, as I say, when you look at it, the banks, they're heavyweights in the index on the ASX 200, all right? And that's got to clearly break, okay? It really has got to be a clear break. And you can see on the monthly, it's not. Now, when you look at the line from here, there's a shoulder, head, shoulder. It'd be nice if there were a few more bars there and look a lot nicer and prettier and say, oh yeah, that's an easy shot and hold, head and shoulder to see. So also what we can do is if we actually go from here like that, we can't do that at the moment because it hasn't broken below. But technically, that's also a rising wedge. If this then decides to rally up to around here, then back down, it'll give it more weight to the downside, okay? And that really re-endorses and reinforces everything in regards to the downturn, where I think if it has a downturn now, it's going to be slow and sluggish and painful. Where if this does it, goes back up a bit, then comes back down, we come down with more certainty, okay? More aggressive, basically. When we look at the weekly, we can see first target had been met. There's the next target. Look, I'm bearish in the market. I just want to be very clear here. If anyone doesn't think I'm bearish, I'm very bearish in the market. I've been saying rising wedge, rising wedge. If you start looking from the first YouTube video that we've done back in late last year. Was it December? Or we started in November, in fact, I think. And we were saying back then, look, this is lining up to be a very bearish move. We had this move here from here. It destroyed the rising wedge. We had targets up to there. It failed. I might as well delete these ones. They failed. And it was this went across, and that was more of a resistance point. That became the right shoulder. There's your left shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, down. This target is from the neckline, from down here right across to the neck, down. That's its target, okay? So still down. This shows weakness, but it shows also consolidation because the first target has been hit. There's nothing there that suggests it's ready to go to the next one. Not saying it can't do it, but there's nothing there to suggest it's ready to go to the next one. So if you're not in, I wouldn't be jumping in. Again, this is the neckline, shoulder, head, shoulder, again on the down. These targets are just off this bit here. All right, so if you wanted to go from there all the way directly to the bottom and across to the breakout, you can see we're down to here, 50 to 300. So that would suggest lower prices to come. This is consolidating, which is great. Okay, it'd be nice to stay here longer. Has a bit of a rally, test the neckline, and it would be fantastic. And you're going to move from over 6,200 points. You're going to move all the way down to nearly 1,000 points down. It'll be a great trade if we see that anyway. Okay, so no entry point at this point of time, unless you're already in, or if there's an intraday one, different story. Okay, that's the XFJ. So let's start off with the banks as usual, and then we'll move on to, we've got Telstra, we've got NST, WPL, Rio, OSH today, and Woolworths. So we've got a little bit of a variety today, as people request. Okay, ANZ. Well, again, rising wedge, target being hit, okay? If you're in, I'd be still potentially holding that short for a lower price. This is actually, just to point out again, this is the main trend line. So there's a good chance, in fact, when the next leg starts down, you'll be doing this. This is the next leg. Now, because the target is well and truly below the main line, I would only trade to the main trend, okay? Not saying it can't go there, but I'm saying this is where I would trade it to. If I see it struggling at that point and starting to go up to reverse, I'd be taking my money. If you get one, let's get there first, of course. Looking at what potentially would slow it down, look, we already hit a target, all right? And when you look at this line, and you just look at the line from this point, don't worry about the rest of the line, this point to there, it's a horn. It also is shoulder, shoulder, head and shoulder. Target of the head and shoulder again, all the way to the bottom there, to the breakout, and there's that target. Okay, so this already hit as a target. Oops, wrong one. And put that one back on the store line then. Ouch. Hold it. Like that. Okay, so as a head and shoulder, this hit. But remember, what the rising wedge shows, there's more lower prices to come. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. More lower prices to come. In fact, it didn't even have a chance to actually rebound yet, so it'll be good if it actually goes there, then continues down. Daily. What do we got on the daily? What does it tell us? It left this gap here, it rallied, closed the gap, and if we have a look at this green bar here, it's what we call an engulfing. It engulfed and it continued up. That's why I sent an email out initially just to show that part to a number of people that asked me back then. So again, close that, back down. All I'm seeing is consolidation here still. I expect to see more consolidation, and eventually, if we get a rally, it'll be a stronger down. So let's see how we go. And really, there's, again, nothing more you can add to the ANZ. And CBA next. If you're looking for a short, like I said, on this or a trade, you need to see a bearish pattern, a daily or an intraday, like I said, a flag, a pennant, or something to take a trade from here. If you're holding a long-term position short already, look, as I said earlier, there is a lower monthly target. So I would consider that. I would probably hold it. If I start seeing a little bullish flag on the daily or 180 minute coming up, then I will definitely close it and reposition a bit further down. Okay. CBA. Oops. Again, as we can see here, the main trend, rising wedge there. That was actually, we probably don't need this one anymore. That was the channel that was there. We don't need that anymore. That's that one there. Okay, so we can see rising wedge because it has cleanly broken below. We can even see a bearish pennant there, which is like a retest. So we can see lower prices to come. Again, you should be doing these from here to its break point. There's its target around 65, 68. I think we said that a while ago. Anyway, I think we got it on the weekly. Yeah, on the weekly there. Again, consolidation. Again, shoulder, head, shoulder. Neckline price, target, again. Oh, same spot, how's that? Let me get it out of there. Okay, leave it there. So, again, lower prices to come. If you're already holding a short, obviously I'd encourage you to keep holding that short. I wouldn't panic on it, so it's lower prices there. Again, on the monthly we can see a lower prices. If we use the rising wedge, there'll be a lower price to come, but let's hit that target first and go from there. In fact, if you really wanted to really take one more step on this, look, if we use this line like there, as we've done there, and we draw that line there, what do we got? All right, it's a symmetrical triangle. So also symmetricals can do this. Okay, a bit lower. Okay, so, but I still see, again, if we go and check the daily out, we should start seeing consolidation starting to occur. Okay, here we are here. Again, consolidation starting to occur. If you're looking for a, oh, actually, that's nasty. Folks, if you take a look at this candle, first of all, look at the green candle, big one, red candle, it engulfed it. What we're seeing is the opposite. This, ooh, it's saying there's a lower price to come tomorrow. Interesting. If I actually saw that, I probably would have shorted today just for even a day trade. I didn't notice it. I wouldn't mind checking an intraday on this one, actually, if you don't mind. Actually, I do have an intraday chart. Where is it? CBA, intraday 60. There it is there. It's a 60. What's a 180 looking like? So look, not the best, I have to say. So look here. It's not the best flag. It's just the way the shape is. It's pretty flat. But I'll say this, if it doesn't recover in the first hour tomorrow, I reckon this is going to head down to here, unfortunately. And in fact, unless it's probably looking at that too. If it sticks around here, it probably will reverse, but if it actually stays probably below this point, I think we will be looking around the $69 on this one. Well, I wish I saw it earlier today myself. But usually, most engulfings that I see, probably 8 out of 10, tend to work out. As you can see by the daily one here, it does have a bit of a rally up. Not saying it's going to continue all the way, but it does have a bit of a rally up on that side. And in this case, it's in the opposite direction. And we do have a target around the $68 mark, and that will actually bring it in line for that target. Then it probably gives it a stronger reason to consolidate. Okay. Let's move on. NAB. Again, with these, you can see the main trend line. It's pretty much, it's the monthly. Yes, it's currently a bit below it. As you can see, the previous month and then recovered. The only way, again, I would be happy with that is if my weekly closes below. If it does, it's going to get ready for the next leg down also. Looking at the weekly, look, again, we can see, I'll just extend the line. We can see again consolidation. It's the horn that again represents top patterns. Again, when you draw these other lines and the top there, we still have again a rising wedge, which is basically a top. Everything was telling us it's a top, as we've been saying in all past basically webinars. If this doesn't close by Friday above it, I would say we're probably getting ready to start the next leg down, at least to this point anyway. There's no actual pattern to do an additional target. That's the thing with these ones. Again, it's a head and shoulder. It'd be nice to come and see it test the neckline. I reckon we'll get a better move down, but time will tell. Daily, it's actually done the same thing as the CBA. As you can see, it's engulfed. I'll just have a look at the intraday on this one too, you don't mind? Same situation, isn't it? But this, I can't really do this. It's not very nice, this one. But even if you clone that there, it's not the best now. Well, at least the other one sort of came to the top. It's not right now. And back to daily. So again, it really is in consolidation phase. Unless it closes below, then it really does become, because if it closes below there and below here, it becomes a short. Okay, it's literally closed below. So we want the weekly to close on this Friday below that. Westpac. Again, rising wedge. We didn't do a target for that one, did we? Let's do a target first, the short-term target. From here to there, to its breakout point there. And this is a bearish flag. From there to breakout. Same spot. I'll just remove one. Okay. So basically what this is telling us, lower prices to come. And I think if you look at it on the weekly, it says head and shoulders. And the thing is, this was more straight, shoulder, shoulder, head. And I was asked about this one, and I said, geez, it's right on the, that's why I was a bit confused. I was right on, literally, it was at this point, which is on the neckline. So, in fact, that's followed through to the down. Again, this is a horn shape, as we can see, which is, again, also a top. You go down. And that's saying lower than the horn itself. I would, again, only consider trades, unless you're in deep profit, probably to the line here rather than there. But this is also showing lower prices to come. We shouldn't be surprised. All we should be looking at here, all these that we've done so far, from the Dow, the XJO, XFJ, ANZs, the banks, is if I was to go short, you should not be on the long side, as we said how long ago. We really should be concentrating on the short. We were looking for opportunities to possibly resell originally, as it comes back up. But personally, as I said, I would not be on the long side, as I've been saying for quite a while, being a top, seeing the Dow at the tops, and also seeing ours, of course, struggling at the top there. And we even suggested the potential head and shoulders is, where do I short nav your long? And you want to keep, obviously, you want to, I guess, protect the capital. I'd be possibly looking at some options, some at long dated options, because especially if you're collecting dividend, that way at least you can make a bit of capital gain on the option. Again, it'll be ideal if this thing rallies a bit before it takes this next dive. Now, even if it goes a bit lower at the moment, but as long as it overall rallies and we can reposition again, it'll be fantastic. Looking at the daily. And this is what I hope we're actually happening here. Of course, as we saw all of them, we're hoping this has gone into some sort of consolidation phase around here in order to tell us, as you can see, big head, shoulder, shoulders, and again, target down. It'll be from up here, directly below, and across to its breaking point, which is here. And a target would be around $24. Okay. And that would be nice if it consolidates here before it makes its merry way. It'd be fantastic. Okay, Westpac, IAG. Isn't this interesting? There's a target for IAG again, by the way, there. We did it last time. Again, broad information, target down. We thought, can we be lucky? Can this go a bit higher? No, it decided to go down. And in fact, on the monthly, we can see here a bearish pattern. I'll just enlarge that to have a look at. There's the bearish pattern. Again, targeting out of that would be to the lowest point there and breakout point there. There's your target to there. Again, shoulder, head, shoulder. Obviously on a head and shoulders, it'll be like so. Okay. And there it is there in the same spot. Again, what can you say? If you're not already in this, if you're not on the short side already, you really got to find an opportunity to get in. You can't just jump in for the hell of it. I'm saying that you cannot jump in for the hell of it. You look for, look at a 180 minute, look at a 60 minutes. See if you can get a bearish flag or something. I hope it gives us all a chance, because there's so many opportunities here to the downside. As we see these prices, there's heaps of opportunities to the downside. I hope this thing gives us a chance and actually consolidates here. It has a bit of a rally up, consolidate, bit rally up, and then gives us a real opportunity to jump in. All right. And again, if you look at the monthly, look, broadening information also. Besides being a head and shoulder, it's also broadening, a large horn, which is like a broadening formation, okay? You can see there's a broadening formation on the weekly, but on the monthly, it's really a large horn. And again, lower prices to come. How fantastic is that? So just opportunities. If it gives us a chance, we can really clean up here. So let's hope it does its principle and rallies, and see if we can close some of the gaps for a little bit. It'll be fantastic. Daily, as you can see, look, we don't have a pattern per se. Can it make a bearish flag here? I don't know. All right? You need to be watching this very, very closely. Very closely. Now, just before we go on, just want to, I heard a number of conversations in regards to, are we going into a recession? Well, we haven't been in a recession for, 24, 25 years. And I remember the last one. It was triggered, we're talking about now 1989, 90, when it was the last huge property boom, okay? And the property busted. That's when we actually went into the recession. The share market busted back in 1987. The Japanese were investing heavily in Australia back then, and it was strange because when we crashed, the US and the rest of the world crashed, we lost so much, as you can see, the 1987 crash. The Japanese went off 10%. That's it. And then it did about face, and it went higher in a matter of a few months, higher than they were before, new highs. And they maintained those highs till 89, early 90s, before their share market started to turn and the property market started to turn, like what happened to the US back in 2007, and they went to this huge downturn. Let's hope the same thing is not facing China at the moment. The only difference between the two here is China is obviously communist and basically pretty much can dictate what the market does in most cases, not always, but in most cases. So let's hope they still maintain that and keep us going for a bit longer so it gives us a chance to position ourselves. Anyway, looking at MQG, okay. Again, we can see we're in this channel. We came down, hit the bottom of the channel, then basically bounced back up, and we are consolidating in this channel level. Now, we really don't have anything else. All right. If it breaks down, I'll just get rid of this 79 target for a minute that was there on the upside. We don't need that anymore. Okay. If it actually goes down, and I'll do this and I'll basically remove it, so not to give any false expectations. If this breaks below, our target would be from here to the bottom, because it's nearly touching it, to the breakout point, and it would go down to 60 bucks. Okay. So I'll just clean this because this might go back up here. So I don't know yet. Okay. So I see it as a main trend line as consolidation. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if we look at all the banks and all the rest, they're on major consolidation points. They are on major trend lines and so forth. So it appears that it started at least to consolidate. So just watch it very, very carefully, I guess is what I'm saying at this point. Watch it very, very carefully. Looking at the weekly, we can see targets. Again, this is the main trend line. Okay, we had a target as high as that. Didn't get that. Bad luck. Gone. And what we are on this triangle, basically the targets. And in fact, we had a lower target, so that was only the first one. We go from here down to there to the breakout, and there's your second target, which we hit that trend line, and then I'm expecting consolidation again around here. I think it's going to take a little bit to break. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think it'll take a little bit before it breaks. Looking at the daily, again, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down here and tested this again. I really wouldn't be. Targeting again from here, we go to there, to its breakout is your first target. Then we go to the next one, next touch, and is where we are. Okay, so from this pattern, targets have been met. Again, I'll stress out, when targets tend to be met, it tends to be consolidation. All right, so again, like I said, I hope I'm not wrong. There's nothing else we can do with this. If you're not short already, you shouldn't be. And if I was to go short on this, I want to make sure we break below this main trend line. All right. Unless we're much higher up, then we can afford to wait and then watch it and take the positions from there. Next one I'm doing is Telstra. Main trend line Telstra is broken on the monthly. Okay, so target was hit. We thought, can we go higher? Obviously not. This on the weekly is actually a channel. Okay, so because it broke to the downside, it's from here first to the next touch point to its break point, and first target, second target. Let's go. It's all the way to the bottom, obviously, to its break point, and that's its next target down. Okay. Let's look at it on the weekly. It really doesn't give us any more than that. The target was hit back then. And this pretty much confirms we're just about on the target now. So again, because it's already broken there, it's hit almost on the target now, I would suspect there would be some sort of consolidation at this point. All right, it must be getting pretty close from a consolidation perspective. Is there any more thing on the weekly? No, it's a large broadening formation, and usually at the top of the broadening overall, if this actually rallies strongly up, I'll say this, and I'll take it. I will leave it on. As long as it rallies up, so don't hold me to it. If it rallies up here somewhere and then back down, I reckon you'll be seeing this. Okay, but it's got to do that first. Okay. It's got to, in fact, you can even go here, which is that one anyway, which we've done. Okay. Okay. So basically, they're the two targets from there, but he has to have a rally up first before he does that. Again, you don't expect this is going to give us much more. I mean, what you're really looking for is a consolidation, and you're really after it like we had here. If you can get something like that in the close, you'd go short on the close as you see it, all right? You'd go short on the close. And then you take advantage of something like this. There's nothing there. If you're there already, I can respect holding the short, but you gotta be in something like that to jump in. So don't jump in blindly for the hell of it. And that's Telstra. As you can see, everything that we're doing overall has really got down targets, okay? NST, Northern Star Ordinaries, what do they do? I haven't looked at this. Somebody asked me to look at it last time. Well, again, what we've got, only 2 touches, unfortunately, and 2 touches on top, so it's really not strong and powerful. As a monthly, so obviously this is now, I can probably see a better thing on the basically weekly than the monthly. You can see there's nothing much we can really say there yet. Let's go to the weekly. Look, that was its consolidation phase. Like this, within 5% is considered double tops. So the target on this is really from there, right? That's its target. Its main trend line, and 1, 2 touches. If it goes there and kicks off a bit, it'll be great. This is like a sandwich. See from there, support, break. Now it's trying to break above, and it's sandwiched into here, basically. All right, so it'd be good if this actually just consolidates in there at the moment. So that would be the top. If it's that, I'll just clean that off now. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the point. It's got a break, so it can be there for quite a while. Daily. If it broke back then, we said it could go either way. And looking at this, I think hasn't met its match yet. It's getting there. So obviously at the moment, that is obsolete. So this is the price. We're talking if it breaks down. In fact, has it got lower price? Not lower, but from here to there, to its breakout point, is there now. So that one there, if it broke there, which wasn't at the time, didn't occur, and a new one was established, and we can see that has now met, as you can see there. Technically, there is a lower price it can go to, of course. It's from here, and it's actually now to there, and the breaking point is there, and it's a touch lower. So there's not that much lower. It can keep going down to this level. So because of the main trend line, you can see this is struggling to go down. So that's probably, unless it's paying something fantastic, I wouldn't be bailing out of this one. I'd watch it very carefully, however, because if it breaks below here, I'd be concerned. I'd be very concerned. Okay. NCM. I haven't looked at this one for a while. Monthly. We hit the first target. We didn't get to the top. It consolidated. That's why I keep saying if it consolidates, you wait and see what it does next. Look, this had a shoulder, head, shoulder. Okay, symmetrical triangle, the same way. First target met, and we really haven't had another continuation target. So this doesn't give us any more than that at this point, except actually it does give you one more little thing. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I used an eraser instead of trend line. I'll just redraw that. I meant to extend it. Okay, so basically that's its trend line, and in fact, what's this? The long-term trend is from here, and there's your long-term trend line. Okay, so this can technically go all the way to support this trend line from this level, and let's have a look at it closer on the weekly, and hit the first one. We didn't have a continuation pattern, unfortunately, to say it's going to go higher, but what we did get is potentially like so, and what that's telling us from here to there, break, which we did hit. So that told us that back to this level. What we really got to watch very carefully, looking at this one here now, clone, is this a flag on the weekly? Now, if it does break, however, I'd watch it to this line here. I wouldn't enter if this is a bearish flag. I wouldn't enter it unless it goes well and truly below this point here anyway. So I'd watch it very carefully. In addition, anyone that was trading this, you should have picked that up. Okay, which basically would have said at least from this level to that level to the breakout point, which is back to this level here. So you need to be watching these things very carefully. Again, this could be a bearish flag. We don't know yet, but just watch it very carefully from here. Let's look at the daily. Okay, so again, this is like a sandwich from there to there to there. Okay, so that's sandwiched in technically. Okay, so I'd watch that with that. Okay, not the best, I must say. So if this breaks down, you're talking about to this level here on the sandwich, and that probably is on the main trend line around the $10 when we're looking at the weekly. Let's have a look just to confirm it. Yep, down to around the $10 mark, or just in fact, where is it here? Where's my crosshair? Yeah, $10.50 or so. So watch it very carefully there. There's again $10.60. Yeah, so it's pretty much in that spot there. I'd watch very carefully there. There really, as you can see in everything that we're doing, there really isn't much we can actually do till its next move if you're not in. If you're in, by all means, no problems at all. But if you're in, okay, not in, you need to find out a reason to get in, not just because it's bearish, because it can do anything. Okay. WPL. Monthly. Still bearish, as we can see. We said major support there, and sure enough it is. Bearish flag, there's our target. Still hold the same position. I haven't changed or anything like that. It's not good trading stock, unfortunately. If you can hold it for a while, this is where we're heading. If you're already short on this, looking at the weekly, look, we had a bearish mare's tail, followed through, mare's tail hit the target, eventuated, and of course it's consolidating in this area at the moment. Also had a little bearish flag there from there, which was a bit higher than this target, but we can see that was part of the mare's tail's target. So that's holding its ground. What did I say, son? So basically, it's holding its ground. So the first target met. The weekly target is the next one. Let's see if daily's given us any more. Just looking at the daily again. Daily target has been met. There really isn't anything else we can do. I mean, if I certainly wouldn't enter it on the long side unless there's a bullish flag, and I'm confident with that bullish flag. I'll be only entering more the short side than the long side, if I get a bearish flag, but that would be the only way, or a pennant or something, or another pattern. And we're not there. As we can see, there is no other pattern there. Next one is OSH. I haven't looked at this one for a long time. Wow. How interesting. What do you say about this? God. Certainly it had a sort of parallel, but you're cutting into trend here, which is not very good. So you don't put much reliance on it. I'll remove the bloody thing. So I think I'll look at the weekly. I can't get too much out of this one. Double top gave us lower prices. This would have really stuffed people up because the targets for this is from here to there, to its break point. Okay, but then you had, in addition, bearish flag and your target where it is, and in addition your bigger target is from here. So you got lower prices to come. Again, consolidation, but for lower prices to come. Looking at the daily, I think you've got a brick wall there. So I'd say it's going to consolidate here, and then you need to make a decision after that based on what it starts to tell us. So can't really do much. You just got to watch it from here. But remember, there is lower prices to come in everything that we've done so far. We have WOW. Oops, type it in at the top, eh? WOW. Look, bearish flag is telling us this is lower prices to come. In fact, it's probably worth putting this even here. Okay, so there's major support obviously there, but It's still lower prices to come. So month is telling us that already. There's even a flag, so everything's there. Weekly, we put that line for a potential support. It respected it there. It respected it here. Let's see if it's going to respect it this week. Basically, what that basically telling us, if it does, it's slowing the fall down at the moment, if it does. Or is it just going to go through and we remove this line altogether? At the same time, let's see if this does that. And not from there, but from here. It's narrowing the top, I guess. Let's see how we go there. And it's doing the same even more here. Okay, so it's closing it all in. So decisions are coming with this anyway. Again, you should not be long on this anyway. Not for a long time ago. You might have been, but shouldn't be anywhere near it at the moment. Again, what we're seeing is potential consolidation is what we've been saying anyway. So again, it doesn't give us much. Just there's no real thing here. Potentially, maybe this could be a bearish flag if we get another one like this up the top here. So really watch it tomorrow. Can this be a bearish flag here? There's not much information, as you can see at the moment, because the main moves have occurred, and now we're waiting to see, is there going to be more? BHP. We're really going through this quite quickly, I must say. I'm quite impressed from that perspective. What can I say? BHP. Monthly, lower prices to come. Okay. In fact, the target still I've got at 1920 to 1846 is the first next target. There's a mess, tails potential here. There's support here, and that's what's holding it. You can see it's tested a number of times. If I was to go short, I want to see it close below on the weekly at least. Okay. So let's have a look at the weekly. There's the weekly. Target on the weekly has been met. So if we look at the weekly price, as we looked on the other one, below that as a close, then we can start rethinking potentially going short again, or we need to look at another bearish pattern, like a bearish flag or something, as we've said before. But this target's been met, so again, when we get major targets on the weekly, we tend to see more consolidation than anything else. On the daily, telling us lower prices to come, and as we can see here, in fact, this might even tighten up a little bit, just from there and there. You can see it's just becomes its brick wall, basically. Again, if you're looking to go short, you need, again, an entry point, which we don't have as yet. So, not much on that. Rio. Again, have a look. Again, lower targets. We're nearly there on that one. Look, if we did it conservatively, we probably would have hit it already, but again, showing lower prices to come. Let's have a look at squeezing this a little bit more to see any. There's 1987 crash. How does that look, eh? How's that? Right on the main trend line. Pretty close to it, isn't it? Cool. Okay, so that's your main trend line. I wonder, can we clone this? Just curious. Nah. Yeah, pretty close, isn't it? Pity. It's a bit lower. It would have been what we call an over-exaggeration, which it was. Anyway, the main trend line also there. Looking at the weekly, it's there, and in fact, if anything, this, delete that, and what we can do, it actually is that, which still a flag, bearish flag, telling us, fine if you got in there, but you shouldn't be in it at the moment, okay? You shouldn't be chasing it. So basically, this is saying lower prices to come. On the daily, and what we did is we deleted that. We cloned, oops, wrong one. Oh, you damn thing. Cloned that. Okay, so extend. Okay, so what that basically does out of a channel, because that becomes a little channel, it goes from the top here to its touch there, to its breakpoint there, and there's your target from there, and technically it goes to the lowest point also, and it's telling us to there. So that target's done. You can understand. Is the question I should be asking here is, this is interesting. It's too early to tell, but can this be a bullish flag? Unlikely, probably, but still. If that's a bullish flag, have a look at it tomorrow and see if it is, because tomorrow will probably give us a good indication. If it breaks below here, it obviously isn't, and if it breaks above, it can be. Okay? It can be. Don't know. I'll leave it there for now and see what happens. And if it is, then we're going to get an up target up there. So we'll have a look tomorrow. That was Rio. Now, what do we got left? The Aussie dollar. And somebody asked, can I do gold in Aussie dollar terms? And I said, I will do that. I will do that first. And with the Aussie dollar, we'll go down to intraday also today. Now, let me have a look at, just 1 second. Okay. Now, I haven't done this one before, actually, so let's have a look. Come here. Okay, so all I've done is I'm starting at this point. I'm cutting those candles, which is not the cleanest way to do it, by the way, but anyway. Got to try to get something here. So what we got is really consolidation in here, haven't we? Okay. As the Aussie dollar weakens, obviously this is going to go up. That's the goal, I guess, isn't it? Weaker dollar, higher gold price in Aussie dollars. Let's look at the weekly. Now, this is weekly, and this is quite a large pattern, by the way. That considers 3 touches at the bottom, 1, 2. That's pretty close. I can bring it a bit closer, really. And okay, touching that, so it's pretty close to. I'll get rid of the crosshair at the bottom there. Channel. Previous highs here. Right, it's not giving away much. What does the monthly look like again? There. Oops, wrong one. Just delete that. Just look at the monthly again. Look, this can be a pennant, okay? The thing is, we have prices of so high, but this is quite a sizable brick wall. I wouldn't consider that price unless this clearly breaks above, and probably it's pretty close, probably to there. You really has got to go through these points before we can even consider that. Looking at the daily. Jeez. And that's where we're looking at. I would go only to the highest body and price. Again, I wouldn't probably anywhere from there to there. It's brick walls on this thing here. Interesting to see if this is actually going to make another bullish flag. And then you got another, maybe because you've got multiple targets off it, you might get a lot better. But there really isn't much you can do other than that on this. So have to watch how this forms. This might be also a bullish flag. This is telling us high, but there's your brick walls. Regardless what we do, these are the brick walls. And now I want to go to the Aussie dollar. Annoying the crap out of me, this one. Okay, monthly. Well, bearish flag, lower prices, major trend line broken. Now, how annoying is that, eh? Now, I mentioned last time there were a number of cycles that all meeting. In fact, they all come at the lowest point that I had the last cycles was 70.5. It has gone past that. I can't say I'm surprised, but I've seen it do it before, and I said it does go below. It tends to recover reasonably quick. So we'll see how this transpires. I had looked at it for someone else yesterday, and I still stand by. I'll show you what targets I have got on it, but the cycles do end here, means that some other new cycles will be starting now. Exactly how that will play out, I'm not sure yet, but I would suspect there should be consolidation. However, let's have a look closer. So monthly saying lower, okay? Weekly, basically all the support that we got, whatever we had is no longer there anymore. It's actually, looks pretty bearish, to say the least, all right? And I can't get another real target out of the weekly. Okay, monthly, if I had a weekly, I can consider that monthly target, but I don't, so I'm going to say I don't have a weekly. In fact, let's just clean the last target just for the moment here that I had. Right, now, this isn't the cleanest. Look, because this line is down, I don't know how much to trust it, right? Because if it is, that's what you'll be looking at. But you've got a line below it. Now, if I was using this as a target, I'd be using the body to there, to its breakout point. And it's saying 69.6 to 69.0, okay? Now, if I look at the daily now, just have a look. Let's go and look at the daily. That's the daily that basically I've got that gives me the 69 and also gives me 1 touch, 2 touch, and potentially if it goes to there, 3 touches. If this here now is also a flag, and I don't know if it's going to be in a minimum of 3 bars, but I don't know how this is going to end up, by the way, but I'm just going to draw it for now. And I can clone that. Okay, then I would say go to the highest body, to the tail, to its breakout point, and I'm only estimating. It's telling me also around the 69, 68 mark, okay? Or it's low 69s. Let me put auto size on. Is that on? No, I've got auto size on. What is it? Just, where's my crosshair? 68.31 as the lowest point. Down 68.31 is the lowest point if that is a flag. If not, we're looking at 69. And I'm more confident on the 69 mark than anything else, only because I've got this also supporting line here. Now, if I go to intraday, let me have a look at intraday. Right, intraday. Where's my intraday chart gone? Sorry, just bring it back. Oops. Sorry about that. Now, this is 180 minutes, intraday chart. Let's go a bit, double that first, and we'll drop it down in stages. Okay, there's your 360. And now, if I was to draw that as a bearish flag there, I will be taking the target from here to the break point. And there's your 69 or just under 68. And in fact, that is actually already broken. So from a 360-minute perspective, this is a short position. Okay. Also, what I can say is when we look at from here, oops, wrong one. Sorry. Okay, as a breakout point from here to there to the breakout point, and again, here's the same level. The shorter time frame, of course, is from here to the breakout point, and that's where we got. So the next target down was there. So this is saying the Aussie dollar should go a bit lower, but we are, everything that I'm seeing, these are the bottoms. So just be careful it doesn't quickly reverse the other way and get caught out. Or if you're going to go to bed tonight, don't leave it on short and running and hope for the best. So you really got to be careful in what you're doing. But I still maintain we are near the bottoms of the Aussie dollar, give or take a little bit. You know, no one's perfect, but I would seriously watch it very carefully. For the Aussie dollar to go dramatically lower, we really probably have to see a decent size rally before we actually start seeing the downturn to occur, right? If you're thinking of the Aussie dollar around 65 cents, I reckon we need to rally probably up to, looking at the monthly chart, probably up to around the 73 to 75, and then possibly start looking to the downside. But we don't have that as yet. Okay, so I would honestly look at this before anything to the downside. Okay, now I think we pretty much covered everything so far, and I had no questions. So look, I hope that's been helpful tonight. If I see something drastically changing, I'll try to bring maybe a webinar a little bit earlier, but that's only if I really start seeing, and I can do it in that time frame, unless something comes up for me that I can't do it. So I hope this has been very helpful. I look forward to the next one, if not earlier, definitely in a couple of weeks' time, today fortnight. Wish you all the best in your trading, and please be careful. As you can say, this is a pretty bearish market. Good evening.